just sings to me. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Rembrandt. If I were to have asked you to name 3 or 4 artists that you could think of, would you maybe assume Michelangelo, Da Vinci, Picasso? Rembrandt. Rembrandt. And for those of us in the faith world, Rembrandt. And perhaps one of the single best religious icon paintings ever is Rembrandt's Return of the Prodigal Son. And there are some that would say it ranks as one of the best paintings ever. And I'd like to lead you back through time a little bit. Obviously not a Rembrandt. That's a Renoir. Look at the color. Look at the expression. It's impressionism. You get everything you need, and it's wonderful. And then, obviously not a Rembrandt. This is Robert Rauschenberg. This is carrying art now up into the 20th and 21st century. Pure expressionism. What do those 2 paintings have in common? Rembrandt. Rembrandt. Light, color, expression. Rembrandt is the base of that. Rembrandt comes systematically, continuously up from 1660s to the modern Impressionism, Expressionism, light, color, emotion. You see it, you feel it. There are accounts of people who, when they first encountered a Rembrandt, literally got quaky at the knees. Okay? So Rembrandt, he was born in 1606, start of the 17th century, following on the heels of Renaissance, Baroque, Rococo, all these art styles that came about in the flowering after the Renaissance and brought us up into this area of light and color and emotion again, and he used it the best of any. And he was born to a fairly prosperous man who had a windmill, gristmill on the river and could afford to send him to school. He was a moderate to poor student. He just wasn't into it at all. And the father, Herman, don't you love that? Rembrandt, Herman Rembrandt, gives us Rembrandt. And he could afford to give him an apprenticeship with a master who, if it hadn't been for Rembrandt being a pupil, we might not know about him. But it started him on the career. And it became very evident, very early, that this man was a genius. He could do so much. And an apprenticeship is an arduous, long, 2, 3, 4-year process. You have to learn to procure the oils. You don't go to Arts R Us. You have to make everything. And you have to find the pigments and that type of thing. You have to learn layout. You have to learn to lay down the basis of a painting. You have to do the underpainting for the master. And you have to pick up and understand the master's style. And this goes on and on and on, and you're worked to the bone. You earn the title of a master. You earn the title to be able to sign your name. For 4 years, Rembrandt could only put a little monogram down in a corner. He couldn't put his name when the day came where he could sign his name to a painting. He had made it. So he goes through this apprenticeship, and then he goes through 2 or 3 more with increasingly more influential masters. And he starts to develop his own style to the point where the master who was teaching him, he becomes a partner with that master, and their school, their studio takes off. And he becomes wealthy, became very well known. Their bread and butter was as portraitists. Joan and I went to Minneapolis Institutes of Art when Rembrandt in America came. And we had a wonderful time. Joan was so good to me and patient. And I think Joan ended up really enjoying it too. And then to cap it off, I don't know how much later, but all of a sudden here's this book in my home. And if you haven't surmised by now, Rembrandt is perhaps my #1 artist, bar none. Except maybe for Rauschenberg, that second weirdo up there. Doesn't that kind of make a little sense, those of you that know me?